All right, shalom, shalom. I'm Mariah Allah coming at you with another lesson straight out of the Lion's Den Camp of Yasha. Before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son in their proper true names. And we're going to start off with saying, Call, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rekah, Kwadash, Ma'amath. I definitely want to give double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder apostle, Ahar One, Bon Yasha Allah of the Lion's Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere men, women, and children, to the Lion's Den Camp, and to the rest of the elect that's out there, man. Shalom. All right, man, today's lesson, man, it's going to be about faith, all right? And how important faith is, to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. All right, so we're going to start off in Hebrews 11:6. All right, it's not going to be a long lesson. It's going to be fairly quick. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. Right, it's impossible to please the Lord without faith, man. You can't please Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai without having faith because you don't believe in him. You don't believe in the system. You don't believe in the setup of things. And you don't believe in the natural order that he has set up. You don't believe in him existing, because if you don't believe in his truth, then you don't believe that he exists. You believe in something else. All right, you have a different understanding, all right, a false understanding of what you have your faith in. All right, so your faith has to be correct. You have to have the faith in the correct God, man, which is the Most High Yahweh, right, and then understanding that he had set up his only begotten son to be a king, a ruler, a God, a power on this earth, man. That the whole earth was made for him, and his name would be Yahweh Shai. All right, so we have to have that faith and understanding that that's who the Most High has set up, Yahweh Shai, and that the Most High exists, and that everything that the Most High has ordained to come to pass is truth, man. Going into World War III, the MOT B, the RFID, CHIP, that's going to be worldwide, man. This system, the beast system that has rose up, out of the dust, man. When the Roman Empire had failed and came back, and that's the system that we're living today. America, NATO, EU, as well as that hammer called America, man. As we see the hammer becoming, the handle becoming loose, the handle of the hammer, becoming loose, and now the hammer becoming weak, but again, it says, but without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai must believe that he is, right? You must believe that the Most High is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? He's rewarded by sending his only begotten son to go up on the cross for us, man. So that way we can have a way back. So that way we can come out today and start teaching, and teaching others, man, to be risen up in the faith of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, rightly defending the word of truth, man. Being a defender of the gospel, man, to the point where we can, be rewarded in the end, man, because of what we did when he first gave us the world, us going into sin, to us going, having a way out of it now through his only begotten son, and receiving those rewards in the end days, man, becoming eternal, immortal, and becoming gods, man, real powers. We're gods now, but we're just on a lower level, man, but becoming true gods for him, and being completely righteous, never sinning again, going back into our correct state, all right, but it says, here's the point. It says, for he that cometh to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? You got to be out here looking for the Lord, man. And we also have to be out here telling about the Lord, man. Let's go to Proverbs, right? Let's go to Proverbs 27:17. It says, iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend, right? So, who's our friends, man? The ones that are out here that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Those are my friends, my family. The ones that are out here doing this work. The ones that believe in the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. You know, the ones that believe that they're Israelites, you know, that go back, to one of the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, understanding that we have a promise, coming. Verse 18, which leads us to that faith, and understanding. Understanding the promise, gives us strength in our faith, man. Verse 18, it said, whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waiteth on his master shall be honored, man. Right. So you stand in this truth, man, doing the real work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, feeding others, building others people's faith in this truth, man. You will be honored and rewarded in that day, man. All right, let's go to come on. Right. Right, let's go to Romans 1:16. It says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, for it is the power of Yahweh, right, unto salvation, right? We're not ashamed of this gospel, man, because this work right here is what's going to lead us to our salvation, man. Us believing in his only begotten Son, us following and trying to be just like Yahweh Shah, man, and following down that path of righteousness, man. Going through the affliction, going through these test trials, us becoming that fine gold, man. It says, right, for it is the power of Yahweh unto salvation, right, to everyone that believeth, right, to the Jew first and also to the Greek, man, right, going into the ones that, know that they're Israelites, who put away that old body, that old self, because, when you speed it up to today, everybody was pretty much, raised up as a Gentile, man, dealing with the true Israelites of the scriptures, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird, man. We all have grew up, under this system and being captive under the hands of Esau Edom, man, in America, and around the world, this system has conquered everything, man. Spilling lies, and just like the Lord said, he loosed Satan for a little while, to go out to deceive the nations, man. But today, the Jews first will be the ones who got to the water first. Apostle Tahar, we can really start our Bivens. Father Bivens going down to the 7, going down to GMS, Apostle Tahar, and the rest of the elders, man, down to, to my elder, Ahar 1, and to the Lions Den camps, being the ones that will be considered the Jew first, and then the Greek also, man, will be the ones that are just not coming to the truth, ones that don't know that they're Israelites, or just finding out that they're Israelites, or, while we out there teaching, that listening ear, have that listening ear or the eyes to see, but again, at the end of the day, it's all for the 12 tribes of Israel, man. The whole salvation, for the ones that don't know they're Israelites, and for the ones that they do, you have those last minute Israelites as well, that last hour. It says, for therein is the righteousness of Yahweh revealed from faith to faith. See, as it is written, the just shall live by faith, man. And that's the understanding. The just is going to live by faith and nothing else, man. We're not going to live by, faith into the world, or understanding into what they call science and physics and all of these other man-made names for stuff that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai created. Dealing with mathematics, dealing with everything in the world, man. All this is really truly the knowledge of him, and he gave it to the world on the left-hand side, and gave us his Holy Spirit of wisdom, in the prophecies, and into all of the understanding of how everything is made and how everything truly works, through him. He gave us that, man. To the wicked, he gave them the worldly knowledge on the left-hand side. All right, but for us, we live by faith into Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, understanding that we have no power without him. We have no understanding, no anything, man. It's a blessing to be to come out of that darkness, to understand that who you are, your power on this earth, you know. And we just waiting on that. We're waiting on our King, to come deliver us and make us whole again, man. Refresh us, you know. Changing us in the twinkle of an eye, man. But that faith, it says, for therein is the righteousness of Yahweh revealed from faith to faith, man. Us going out teach, man, is revealing that faith to faith right now, man. Teaching others. Let's go to Galatians 2. No, I ain't read it just yet. Let's go to John 6, right? And 28, it says, then said they unto him, what shall we do that we might work the works of Yahweh, right? It says, Yahweh shall answer, because that's the true name of the only begotten Son, all right, our big brother, our King. He said, answered and said unto them, this is the work of Yahweh, that ye believe on him whom he hath sent, meaning him, Yahweh shall. You believe in him. That is the work of Yahweh, believing on him and teaching, teaching about him, having that faith in him, right. This is Romans 10 and 17. I should have grabbed this a few seconds ago, but it says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh, right? So we have to be out there teaching, man, to build up others, man. Iron sharpeneth iron, man. Bidding many back to the marriage and building up people that's, that have the faith and that just coming into the truth, sharpening their sword, man, by continuously doing the work, sharpening their sword, iron sharpens, and that iron is that wisdom, man, that you may get from your elders, you may get from, going into Apostle the hard, a hard one, that way you can eat, but that faith comes by hearing, man. So we have to be out there, doing this work, man. It's a blessing to be a part of it, let's go ahead. So let's end it on Galatians 2 and 20. All right, it says, I am crucified with Hamashiach, nevertheless I live, right? We live because he's living with us right now, man. And, we dwelling in that spirit. His spirit is dwelling in us. It says, yet not, but Hamashiach liveth in me, right? And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith. See? This life that I'm living right now, we living by faith of the Son of Yahweh, who loved me, man. He loved me so much. John 3:16, man. And gave himself for me. Right, the Israelites, it says, I do not, and that's only the elect of Israel. 21, it says, I do not, right, but, ultimately you could say for all of them, because they all will end up in the kingdom at some point, but ultimately, it's for the elect, man, the ones that diligently seek him, the ones that names are written in the book of life, man, but it ends up blessing the whole entire family, man, of Israel, man. Because they be born, they get the chance to be born back into the kingdom and not just completely done away with, like how their twin brother will be after they serve their judgment, their slavery, their time of, their 1,000 years of slavery. Verse 21 not ended. It says, I do not frustrate the grace of Yahweh for if righteousness come by the law, see, then Hamashiach is dead in vain, man. All right, going into how the law ain't gonna save you, man. So the faith is what saves you, and faith leads you to doing parts of the law to the best of your ability, or holding up the law to the best of your ability. But it's not going to save you, man. What saves you is that faith, that just what we was going into earlier, man. Having that faith into Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, right? Because you must believe, right? Verse 29, John 6, Yahweh answered and said unto them, this is the work of Yahweh, that ye believe on him whom he hath sent, right? So you have to have that belief, that faith into his only begotten Son, man, Yahweh Shai. And through faith, a lot comes behind that, a righteous reward, man. Going back to Hebrews 11:6, but without faith it is impossible to please him. So you got to believe in Yahweh Shai, man, to be part of to do works for the Lord, man, for the Heavenly Father. That's part of it, man. Believing in his only begotten Son. right? It said, for it is impossible to please him without having faith, man. You got to have the faith into Yahweh, you know, one that he sent. It says, for he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, right, that he exists, right, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? Because they when they found Yahweh, they found the Most High Yahweh. So at the end of the day, you know, that reward is going to come because you did, you know, the things pleasing to him, man. You know, kept the faith, and you did, you know, you bid many back to the marriage, man. Kept the faith and taught about his only begotten son, having faith in him, and passing that cup along, you know, and if you're building others up in this truth, man, giving them more understanding, you know, and bringing many back to the marriage at the same time, man. You know, being that true teacher, that true prophet that the Lord wants you to be, you know, and at the end of the day, it's beautiful, man. Continue pushing, man. Keep the faith. And Yahweh desire this lesson, you know, help somebody in this truth, man. Shalom.